Morning, everybody. We're just waiting for a few more people to join from the waiting room, and then we'll get started. Wonderful. Well, we'll get started, everybody. So good morning. For those of you that don't know myself, my name's Emma. I'm one of the connoisseurs here at Panache Cruises. And we're joined today by Ed Lang from Regent Seven Seas. So you're in for a treat. We're going to talk all things Regent. Now, we are going to do things slightly differently today than our usual webinars. And we're going to have more of a conversation and just talk through everything that is Regent. So please feel free throughout the course of the conversation. If you've got any questions that you'd like us to answer live today, then there is a chat box. So if you just put your cursor over the bottom of the screen, you'll see the chat box there, and feel free to type anything that you'd like us to answer. If for any reason we can't answer anything live today, then please don't worry. I will be in touch with everybody on an individual basis after the webinar and over the course of the next couple of days. But without further ado, I'm going to pass you over to Ed, who can give us a brief overview of what Regent Seven Seas are all about. So Ed, over to you.
Thanks, Emma. Good morning, everyone. As she said, I'm Ed, the Senior Business Development Manager for Regent. Thanks very much for joining us this morning. And yeah, we just thought we'd give you a bit of an oversight into what Regent do as a cruise and a holiday experience, and what you know from our own personal experiences have really been highlights for us. So for Regent Seven Seas, I think a lot of it in terms of what we deliver is really kind of delivered in our tagline of an unrivaled experience. We truly believe we are the best in class in the ocean cruising industry. You won't find a better holiday experience when you sail with us. And that unrivaled experience comes through in so many different ways, whether it be the space on board our ships, all the amazing inclusions that we have whenever you sail with us, in particular the shore excursions that we offer for really amazing land ashore experiences and really kind of trips of a lifetime that we offer, but also the service that you get on board. And I think we're probably going to talk about some of our own standout highlights from that element. And yeah, I think really once you encompass all of those, elements into what we do, it does really become, an unrivaled holiday experience. Whenever I come back, I always sort of say it's difficult to go back to reality. It's just absolutely phenomenal. So that's a very brief overview of what we do. But of course, hopefully in the course of this conversation, some more of what we do will come out. And on that note, I think probably, Emma, you've sailed with us quite a few times anyway. You've had a fair amount of experience. So from your side, is that kind of what you've experienced as well? Is that how you feel about Regent when you think about them and when you talk to clients about them?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think it's the thing that stands out for me with any Regent experience is it feels effortless. So from the minute that you, not even just the holiday itself, from the minute you've booked your cruise, the whole experience is enjoyable. That's something obviously that we do here at Panache. We will assist with things for guests, such as booking the shore excursions on the day that they become available, just to make sure that everybody's getting their first choice. Same with the dining experiences, we'll book them as soon as they're available. And that's something that really brings the holiday to life, particularly when you're booking maybe a year, 18 months, even 2 years in advance. So it's right from the start, it's an enjoyable experience, and the service levels are really there from the minute you've booked your holiday. But once you step on board that ship, it really is like another world.
Yeah.
My first cruise was on Mariner, and it was probably, I think it was about 2 years later that I then went on Voyager, and there were still crew on board Voyager who'd met me on Mariner that knew me. And that was, like you say, unrivaled in terms of the service. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I agree, and I had that exact same experience. Um, I sailed on Mariner for the first time in 2014, and then went on Explorer in 2017. And the maitre d' who was on Mariner back in 2014, she was the maitre d' in I think it was Compass Rose at that time, but she'd moved to Chartreuse, and she came over and said, "Oh, Mr. Lang, so good to see you. It's been so long. How have you been?" And she remembered me. And it was just absolute, that blew me away. That sort of attention to detail, absolutely incredible. I think you touched on one of our big inclusions there, and helping people with booking the shore excursions. And I've come from a tour operating and very much a traveling background, and that really is one of the big things for me, the shoreside experiences. We have a special offer campaign at the moment with a 3-night land experience in Vancouver, and then an Alaska cruise. And when you look at the tours that you can enjoy in Alaska, like the whale watching, the bear spotting, even going on a small rib through some of the smaller inlets, and going to a local crab restaurant, and dining on this amazing local Alaskan crab. There's just so much that you can do there, and the memories you make from those trips are just phenomenal. And it comes out every single time. I loved my trip to Ephesus when I went a few years ago. Santorini was amazing, but really a standout for me was St. Petersburg. I was lucky enough to go there for 2 nights, 3 full days. I did 8 tours, and they were all included. There was no extra cost, and I really feel like I went and saw and experienced St. Petersburg properly, and really truly enjoyed it. And it was never really massively on my travel radar, and that completely turned around my perceptions, being able to go and experience it. Have you had many Regent tour experiences?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm a bit of a culture vulture, so the tours are what do it for me.
Yeah.
But I think the St. Petersburg is an absolute prime example, because I've done the Baltics and I've been to St. Petersburg, unfortunately not through Regent, and the cost for those excursions, really to maximize your time as well. And it's something that I think I will definitely do again, because I don't feel like I got the best out of St. Petersburg, because the tours are so expensive with other cruise lines. You sometimes feel a little limited, or you start to look at one tour versus another, and should we do that one, should we do both? And I think that's one of the biggest highlights of having those inclusive tours, that you really can do everything that you want to do, obviously time permitting. And I think that's where, for me, Regent really stand apart, that's where you get the best experience, and ultimately the value in those excursions is phenomenal. And I've been asked many times over the years dealing with Regent. I think I'm probably about 8-9 years in now to for dealing with you guys, and I get asked quite a lot, what's the quality of these excursions like, though? Are they just your 2-hour walking tour? And absolutely, there's that available if that's what you want to do. But the diverse choice that you have in each of these ports of call, there really is something to suit everybody, and more.
Yeah, I agree. I always say we cover the highlights plus more, and it really helps cater to people who have been to destinations multiple times as well. You know, Livorno is a great example. You know, often people have already been there and visited Florence and Pisa, so they're looking for something different. So a few years ago, we started running 3 different tours to Lucca, and now a lot of people have also now been to Lucca. And there's a really beautiful, quaint village called Bulgari that now we run a trip to, where you can have a nice walking tour around the village and then go to a local winery there. So we are trying to push the boundaries in terms of new experiences at the same ports as well, which is very key, because as we know, if you cruise, and people do a lot. So they're always looking for new experiences. And we've expanded that even more so because of the land side experiences that we've bookended our cruises with so much more recently. You know, we've consistently in the last few years put together Rocky Mountaineer with our Alaska itineraries. We've actually got 6 departures next year that run with that. Next year we've got a Robust Rail package in South Africa and a cruise. We have an amazing stay and cruise offer at the moment in Barbados. So Navigator, our little tiny 490 guest ship, she's lovely, is doing a whole host of Barbados round trips. And we've added a 3-night or 4-night hotel stay in Barbados before the cruise, again because it's a nice addition to the experience that you would have. So we are consistently doing that, and we've built in those land programs into the cost of a lot of the cruises, in particular out to the Far East like Japan and Hong Kong and Singapore. We always offer a 3-night pre or post cruise with those sailings, so that people can go and see those amazing, vibrant sort of Southeast Asian cities before they head off on their sailing. So it is very much destination focused.
I think that speaks volumes to the service levels and the attention to detail. And we speak about that a lot with luxury cruising, but with something like the land programs that you offer, it shows that the thought process is there, the whole holiday experience is there. And with any Regent experience, it starts not just necessarily from the second you get on board the ship. You know, the attention to detail to these land programs are really considered, and it gives everybody such a snapshot of these destinations. And you mentioned the Alaska and the Vancouver element. That I don't know anybody. I've specialised in Alaska for quite a few years now, and I don't know anybody really that doesn't want to spend that extra time in somewhere like Vancouver. It's such an incredible city and so much to see and do. And you know, the packages for the Rocky Mountaineer, it's all so carefully thought out. And I've had so much feedback over the years from people when they've come back from these types of experiences with Regent, who have just said it's one of the most incredible experiences that they've had from any holiday. So it definitely works.
Yeah. And then I think if we go, because obviously I came from that destination background, it is very, very important to everything that we do. But I think if we bring it back to onboard life, I think that has also really, really sort of changed in terms of perceptions and views in the last year or so, because we have very big ships, but just not very many people on those ships, which is a huge advantage now. And the space at sea that we offer is really truly unrivaled as well. And it's been a big focus for us in the last year, having that unrivaled space at sea message. All of our ships are all suite. 4 of our 5 ships are all balcony, so some really amazing large living areas and suites for you to relax in. But there's so much in terms of facilities and restaurants and lounges for people to space out in and enjoy. And I think that actually for the next year or so is going to be a key consideration for people. And it's for me, in particular when I walked on to Explorer, it's just that sort of space element is just mind-blowing how much space you get.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I'm a fan of all the suites. they're all they're all spectacular in their own right, but I think the choice that people have on particularly Explorer and Splendor now, with the different size options for the suites. If you want a larger balcony versus a larger living space, you've got that choice available to you. And I had a Superior suite on board when I sailed on Explorer, and it gave me a real wow factor. And you know, I've said to customers a lot over the years, I'm into my 22nd year this year of selling cruises, and I've been lucky enough throughout that time to sail on many, many different styles of ship, expedition, yacht, river, elite ocean, everything that we specialize in, as well as many others. And sometimes when you're a cruiser and you're a regular cruiser, you can lose that wow factor. You can almost become a little bit blasé about the experiences because you've become quite used to it. So to be able to regain that absolute wow, I get that every time I step on board a Regent ship. There's always something that reminds me why I go back to Regent time after time.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And it's like I said right at the start, it's all about the different elements. Sometimes that wow is a special touch, you know, in terms of, you know, a few years ago when I was in Livorno, it's a very long day if you go to Florence and Pisa. It was 42 degrees, very, very hot. And so the crew was so considerate. They thought about this, you know, and guests coming back from that sort of 10-12 hour trip are going to be hot, going to be tired. And so what they did is they laid out some red carpet on the quayside. They put about 100 crew down on the quayside. The band was down on the quayside playing live music, ready as a welcome home party to everyone returning back from their shore excursions all day. The captain was scanning everyone back into the ship to say welcome home. And literally people were stepping off their transport, offered a glass of champagne or an ice water, a cold towel, flannel, and you could just see everyone's faces light up as they got off their minivans, as they realised there was this amazing special welcome home party. And you know, I'm sure that those sorts of memories live long, you know, and it's those special touches sometimes. But then other times when I went on Splendor last year for the first time, you know, the wow factors there were just the design, the chandeliers, the way the ship it runs and it's put together. I've never seen a ship run like that. It's just absolutely phenomenal. The way that the guest spaces run into the communal spaces and vice versa, and the design and the style of artwork and decor on the ship is just incredible. So, you know, there's always something that really kind of blows me away. Definitely the first time.
The food for me.
Well, yeah, I was going to say definitely the first time it was the food. Definitely the first time it was the food, and that always impresses me. But the first time, wow, you know what stands out then? What's on your favourite dish list?
Oh gosh, there's all sorts. And that's the thing, because I'm a resident foodie, and you know, everybody has their own reasons for picking a particular cruise line or a particular ship. And for me, the itinerary is always the first thing that I look for, but there's always an element of the food. And having been on 3 of the ships now, I can honestly say I have never had a bad meal on board. And that's right from breakfast, lunch, dinner, poolside snacks. Just the attention to detail in the cuisine is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I love chartreuse. I think the menu in there is extraordinary. But for my personal taste, if I had to pick a standout restaurant for the cuisine, it would be Pacific Rim, without question.
Yeah. I mean, the miso black cod and the lobster temple that I had in there is just yeah, I agree. But I mean, Prime 7 for me as well. The surf and turf a lobster tail and filet mignon. But it's the same story again. I was sat with someone dining on the same table as me, and you could see they just couldn't decide between the Alaskan crab leg or the lobster tail. And they were like, oh, I just don't know. And so they just bought both up. They said, we could see we're really not sure, so we bought you both so that you can choose between the two. And they really do try and do everything that they can to make your dining experience special, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, like you said.
And I've travelled with people with dietary requirements as well, gluten-free being the one in particular. And I've got to say, the way that they handle that on board, and again, the consideration and the care that's given in a very discreet way as well, is absolutely superb. It's so personalised. And I think that's why we work so well between Panache and Regent, because everything that we like to do is very personalised, individual to everybody's own needs. Everybody's got those slight differences, and that certainly works well for us, and that's our ethos here at Panache, that nothing is too much trouble. And that's very much the same experience that guests can expect from a Regent cruise.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lovely touch that all of the dining is included, room service, and you can actually in-suite dine, so you can have course by course dishes brought to your suite privately. And it's lovely that there's no supplement to dine in any of those spaces, but it's so much more than the fact that there's no supplement. When we were talking last week, I said the last time I was in Compass Rose, we tried the chef's taster menu, and it was all paired with sort of Chardonnay to start with. And I said, just hold the Chardonnay. I'm not particularly a Chardonnay fan. And he just came back, without me asking, with 4 different varieties of grape, 4 different wines to pair with it. And I ended up having just an absolutely fantastic glass of Sancerre with it. And it's just, it's those little things that they thought about. It's so attentive. And of course the drink, the beverages are all included as well. Premium, fine wines and champagnes and all the branded spirits that you can imagine are all included in the fare, which is obviously part of the fact that it's an unrivaled experience. But again, it's so much more than the fact that they're included. It's the way they're delivered.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that the crew on board are exceptional. And what I find is it's very genuine. The service from the crew is so genuine that adds to the atmosphere.
Yeah,
you get to know the crew. They become friends almost whilst you're on that particular itinerary. And like we've both had the experience, you go back, it could be a year, 2, 3 years later, and because it's a genuine connection that you make with these people, they remember you. And they remember the drinks that you like. They remember particular tables in the restaurant that that would be your preference. And that, because that comes from such a genuine place, I find the atmosphere on board like no other. Both during the day, of an evening, you see the staff around the ship of an evening, and they want to make sure that you're enjoying your experience as much as possible. And that comes through in whether it be the waiting staff in the restaurants, the bar staff, the entertainment staff, across everything. It's a very heartfelt, genuine service, and that I think you can't really match. And
again, going back to the unrivaled experience, I truly believe we have the best crew. The crew make a cruise, right? They really do, and they are outstanding. But I think it's an ethos that runs through the whole company. It truly is in our blood that we want people to have the most phenomenal holiday. Whether it's me shoreside in the UK, whether it's someone on board or someone in Miami, it's in our blood to deliver the best experience anyone could ever have on a cruise. And it really is, because we love the experience, and we love how happy we make people when they go on board with us. It's just so heartwarming to see how good a time people are having when they sail with us. It really is.
And I think that's quite apt with your current background, Ed. That would definitely make my experience.
Oh yes, here we are sat in the Regent Suite. Yeah, I thought I'd welcome you to my home away from home. Just shy of 4,500 square feet suite. You may have seen it on Channel 5. There's a documentary on Seven Seas Explorer, and yeah, they do feature the Regent Suite quite heavily. It's a beautiful, beautiful suite. It really is. Two original Picassos hanging outside, and yeah, it's phenomenal. Take a look at it if you can. I'd highly recommend it. But you know, like Emma said, there's suites to suit all tastes. I've sailed in an H grade, I've sailed in a concierge, I've sailed in a penthouse, I've sailed in one of the name suites, and they're all great for different reasons. They really are. So you know, it should be there, something there for everyone. The only thing is, of course, we truly believe luxury is having a suite, and is having that big personal space, and is having that balcony for you to go and relax on privately. And so that's why from the turn of the century we started building all suite or balcony ships, because we truly believe that is again a true luxury experience. But we still build ships that are sort of 700, 750 guests, because it strikes that perfect balance of a great atmosphere on board, meeting fellow travelers, but also allowing you to have, you know, 5, 6 restaurant options, 4, 5 lounges, being able to have a really impressive, beautiful 2-tier theatre with, you know, proper, you know, production performances and guest lecturers on board. So it really delicately, but I think perfectly balances, you know, numbers of people on board versus facilities, and I just think it's just amazing.
So what's hot for Regent at the minute then? Where's everyone going?
Well,
Where's
very hot today is our World Cruise. It's
yeah.
launching today. Yes, yeah. Our World Cruise for 2024, no less. So that's very much in everyone's thinking at the moment. 2023 we launched in October last year, and it sold out in 48 hours. So you know, we're expecting some big things from that. But apart from that, I think that we've really noticed a move in the market, that people are really looking to the traditional cruise heartlands of the Caribbean and the Med. I think that vaccination rates in those destinations are very good. I think also people know what they're going to get when they go there. And so the Caribbean and Mediterranean have really kind of been our you know, biggest sellers in the last sort of really probably 6, 7 months really, as we go forward. And in terms of a return to water, I think that everyone needs to know that. We've got our first ship, Seven Seas Splendor, which I'm sat on right now, of course. That's our first ship back on the water. She's sailing from Southampton on the 11th of September, so less than 2 months away. And then we have Explorer, the ship with the documentary, that's launching in the middle of October in the Mediterranean, before she heads across to the Caribbean to do a number of Caribbean itineraries. And then Mariner, she starts in the middle of December actually on a Panama Canal sailing, but before she heads off to the World Cruise in 2022, which you know, has been full for a very long period of time, so we don't really look at that. And then Voyager is starting up in February in the Canaries, so there's a couple of Barcelona round trips down there, and then she's doing some med stuff. And then Navigator begins in early January, and then obviously through the first sort of 4 months of 2022, she's doing those great Barbados round trips, which is they're proving incredibly popular with our UK guests. It's a great fit for us. So
Definitely. I think anything that goes out of Barbados is always
yeah.
It's always popular. I can think of worse places to spend my time.
Exactly, but that's sort of our return to water schedule, and hopefully that'll all stay the same. We do have a web page on our website set up, literally dedicated to this return to sail, with all this sort of health and safety protocols that we've sort of instigated, as well as the return dates and sailings for the ships and things. So if you do have more, you know, a desire to look at that, I would urge go to that web page, because it's updated daily and it reflects the relevant changes in different parts of the world and things.
I think it's probably key for anybody watching the webinar to know that, obviously, like I said at the start, today we decided to do something a little bit different, bit more of a nice chat about our experiences, what we love about Regent. But we have had previous webinars, you know, through Regent. If anybody wants more visual content of the ships, pictures, videos, please reach out. We've got a full library stocked of that sort of stuff. So if you want the imagery and the videos to really bring the experience that we've discussed here today to life, then that's no problem. We can, of course, send all of that over to you.
Yeah, I think that last month we posted out a video sort of as a welcome to Regent and discover the Regent experience. So, you know, we have that, I believe, on your website and also on your channel. So that really kind of encompasses, again, what we do. But certainly from my perspective, the dining, the service, and the shore excursion experiences, and the quality of the ships, of course, are really what stands out for me.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'd agree. I mean, like I've said, food for me is my absolute top priority. Not just on holidays, day-to-day life. It's what drives me. But the food, the service, the suites, and the space, the choice that you get, I think that's what makes it unrivaled for me. It's that ability to go on holiday, have very few limitations to the choices that I would like, and to not have to worry about what it's going to cost me when I get off the ship. That's the nicest thing.
Yeah, it is very relaxed in that respect, I think, because, and it's the same thing if you meet a group of new friends on a shore excursion, you can go to a lounge and just order 12 drinks because it's all included for everyone. And so there isn't ever that sort of hang-up hassle of showing wristbands or sweet cards or whatever. It's just accepted that it's included for everyone. So yeah, it does make it so much more relaxed, that people just aren't making any kind of budgetary decisions when they're on holiday. It's a fantastic thing to do.
It is. It's a genuinely wonderful experience, and in my opinion, one that everybody should try. I think as soon as you do it once, that's it. You're hooked. You're hooked.
Yeah.
And to help everybody, we do have an exclusive offer for you today. Now, in keeping with how we work here at Panache Cruises, and certainly how Regent operate as well, in terms of it being about your individual experience, we have an exclusive event offer for everybody who wants to book within the next 14 days. But we're really going to tailor that and make it a bespoke offer for you as the individual, depending on the category of suite you want to look at, the particular sailing, the length of the sailing. So I will be in touch with everybody over the course of the next 24 to 48 hours. Give you time to just digest the information that you've had today, maybe have a look at the website. If anyone wants to have a look at that world cruise, feel free to get in touch. And hopefully we can speak more about the Regent experience, and any questions at all that anybody would like to put towards, please feel free to get in touch with me over the next couple of days. So I would just like to really thanks to you, Ed, for joining us today. It's been an incredible working relationship for the past 8 to 9 years that I've had with Regent, and long may it continue. Some incredible experiences that I've had with them, and like you say, memories that really do last a lifetime. So thank you for your time today. I really do appreciate it.
Always, my pleasure.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. I will speak to you all soon. I'll speak to you soon too, Ed, and just thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.